So I finally did it. I bought a Tesla. After many months of going back and forth, I've decided to settle with a Tesla Model Y. I reviewed one from my friend not too long ago. After that review, I kind of fell in love with that car. It really does everything well, and if you look at that price point, it is a luxury car, but if you look at a price point between $50,000 to $60,000, it's really unbeatable. I've gone through literally dozens upon dozens of cars over the last 20 years. And trust me, I've seen all the games, every single game there is, right? Working with a salesperson, going back to the manager, right? Saying, oh, this deal can't be done. We can't get to these numbers, but eventually they do. And you waste hours and hours of time. That's not the case when you're buying a Tesla. You do it in the convenience of your home, at your leisure, whenever you have time. You go on Tesla.com. And you can configure it and place the order when you are ready. So the car buying experience for a Tesla is by far the best and the easiest. With that said, even though the whole order process is really simple, but there are still tactics because Tesla is still a company that's trying to sell you expensive luxury cars. So there are still sales tactics that they employ. So I was unaware of that. Even my friend who bought 2 Teslas, he was probably aware of it, but he just didn't want to tell me. So that is why I'm creating this video for you guys that are interested in buying a Tesla. You've probably configured it 100 different times and you've seen the numbers, you looked at the numbers and you're like, okay, I could do this. This lease payment or this finance payment is good for me. I could do it. But I'm here to say that there are hidden fees, numbers, taxes, other considerations that Tesla does not tell you up front. That is what this video is all about. I'm going to go through the complete process, start to finish, starting with the configuration of a Tesla in case you haven't seen that before, and then what happens behind the scenes, right? After you put down your $100 deposit, what happens then? What do you do when they ask you to actually pay for your Tesla? How do you lease it, finance it? What about trade-ins, right? And what about home charging and all the numbers and everything else, all the nitty-gritty stuff I'm going to cover in this video. So if you're interested, let's get started. All right, so to get started, I'm on the Model Y on the bottom, custom order. Okay, with the Model Y, there are only 2 options. So you do have a long range and performance. And the long range is already pretty impressive. 316 miles, 0 to 60 in 4.8 seconds. That's plenty. It's plenty fast. I've tested a Model Y before in this configuration, plenty fast. And just FYI, Tesla released a speed boost. So for $2,000, you can upgrade your Model Y now. 0 to 60 will go from 4.8 to 4.3 seconds. So if you want a little bit more boost, you could pay $2,000 now or later, it doesn't matter. That's available for you. So if you look at the price, this is where you first notice, at least I did right away, one of the sales tactics that Tesla employs. And that is to show you a discounted price that includes potential savings. So what you're seeing now, $45,690 and $55,690, that's with the potential savings calculated in there. But we know potential savings is a variable, right? It really depends on how much you drive, right? The amount of miles you put on, the amount of gas you're going to use. So this is really different and hard to calculate, but Tesla made an estimation. If you click here into purchase price, this is the actual cost of the car. So right away, there's a sales tactic right there, right? Tesla is trying to make their cars look a little bit cheaper than it actually is. So with the 2 versions, you have long range, that's right under $50,000, and performance, that's right under $60,000. And just FYI, performance, you get a little bit less range, 291 miles, but top speed is increased to 155 miles per hour, and 0 to 60 is decreased to 3.5 seconds. And plus, you get some stuff like cosmetic stuff, and also the wheels are different. But for me, I went with the long range because I think it's more than enough for my needs. Now, clicking next, this is where you can configure the color and the wheels. Color, base is white. I like white. I would have selected white anyways, even if it wasn't free, but it is. White is free, but every other color there is, black, this metallic silver, deep blue metallic, they all cost $1,000 more, and the reds somehow cost $2,000 more. So if you do want a different color, unfortunately, you're gonna have to pay for it. But luckily, I like white and it's free, so that's what I chose. And then you have wheel options. You have a 19-inch, the stock ones, Gemini wheels, and you have the induction wheels, 20-inch. Okay, so the 20-inch wheels, obviously a little bigger, and it's blacked out, and it just looks better, right? Yes, that's all true, but you're paying $2,000 more and you're getting less range. So that is not something I want to do right now. All right, next, you have a black or white interior. Now, white interior, to start out, looks awesome. Looks fantastic. The black and white contrast, really nice. But it does cost you extra $1,000, and I have kids. I don't want my kids to dirty up the seat, so I went with black. I think it's fine, and black with this wood trim looks fine to me. It still looks good, and plus I don't have to worry about dirty hands for my kids, and plus I save $1,000. Now, in terms of seat configuration, you only have one, 5-seat. Later on, there's going to be a third row, most likely next year, 7-seat, but it costs additional $3,000. So the final option is you have to decide if you want to just stick with autopilot or full self-driving. Autopilot is already fantastic. It's better than semi-autonomous driving features from all other manufacturers. So the ability to stop and go with traffic, right? Dynamic radar cruise control, that's included. Auto braking, that's included. Also the ability to stay within the lanes, that's included. So basically your Tesla will semi-auto drive already, just with those features. So that's included, but if you wanted more, then you can upgrade to FSD. FSD goes beyond that. So when you're navigating on autopilot on the highways, it will actually take off ramps and on ramps for you. And it will also pass people that are going too slow in your lane. So it'll do all that for you. Also, it could do auto lane changes. It could do auto parking for you. It could do smart summon. So if you're in the middle of a parking lot, it can actually come to you. And finally, it can read traffic lights and stop signs. So it goes beyond that. And Tesla's always upgrading FSD capability. Eventually, it will make all Teslas into full autonomous driving, but it's not there yet. It is an expensive option, $8,000. This is why I didn't want to spend money on the other options like colors. If you don't select it, that's fine because you can add FSD down the road, but the thing is, Tesla tells you, well, the price can increase down the road, right? So that's something you have to be aware of. All right, that's about it in terms of how you configure a Model Y and most Teslas. There's just not that many options or many steps to go through. So lastly, you see cash, lease, and loan. You don't have to decide right away if you wanted to dish out the cash or lease or loan. The only thing you really need to decide is whether or not you want to buy this Tesla. Because if you do, you have to put down $100. It's non-refundable, okay? And then you can select cash, lease, or loan later. Next, I'm going to show you the nitty-gritty, the behind-the-scenes stuff, and show you that these numbers, okay, the lease numbers are going to be higher than what you see here. This is why it's another tactic, because this $100 that you're putting down, if you change your mind afterwards because you see all these fees and taxes and everything else rolled in, you might change your mind, but unfortunately, that $100 is non-refundable. So this is why I'm creating this video so that you guys will not be surprised. Now, before I continue, I want to mention about the referral program, and this is important. You do want to utilize someone's referral link when you make a purchase. Hint, hint, I do have my referral link in the description of this video and also pinned to the top of the comments. The reason why you want to use a referral link is because you're getting free miles. If you utilize, say, my link, you get 1,000 miles of free supercharging, which is a lot, right? Who doesn't want free supercharging miles? And for me, I also get 1,000 in return. So Tesla made it so that both the referrer and the referee both benefit. So what happens after you put the $100 down and you make a purchase? You know, for me, I had a lot of anxiety, right? I'm like, okay, what's next? Number one, you'll get an email like this. Thank you, your Model Y order is confirmed. And then you get a second email, which is this. Prepare for delivery. Fast track your delivery by selecting your delivery location, and completing your pre-delivery tasks. Okay, so this is where it starts getting exciting. You have to log into your account, and there's a lot of things to do now. So once you log into your account, you'll see your Tesla there, and you just need to click into it. And this is where you enter all your information. First thing Tesla asks you is, where do you want to pick up your Tesla? So all you have to do is enter your address and select your location. So next up is, who does the Tesla belong to? So you could select yourself, 2 people, you could select a company or a trust. This is pretty simple, so just make sure you fill in the person that's actually going to be owning the Tesla. Next up, Tesla wants information about the person or company or trust that will be owning the Tesla. So this might be uncomfortable for some of you guys, because you do have to give your full name, your date of birth, driver's license, where you're from, and they also want a copy or a photo at least of your driver's license. So you do have to enter that. You have to enter this anyways, because if you want to finance or lease it, Tesla has to do a credit check on you. So this is one of those steps you really can't avoid. Now Tesla wants to know, okay, how are you going to pay for your Tesla? So you could pay either in cash, which is just cash up front in full, or you could go through a Tesla arranged lease, or Tesla arranged loan, or a self-arranged loan. But if you select self-arranged loan, it's basically paying cash, okay? It's almost no different. So really you have to decide, are you gonna put cash down, okay? Are you gonna lease it, or are you gonna loan it, okay? And this is where the numbers start adding up. You could see, remember, I showed you guys the configuration, the exact one that I selected. And the price originally was $58,990, right? It's under $59,000. But look at it now. Car price jumped up to $60,290. Okay, so why did it jump up? And then you add in taxes, fees, order fee, and payments. It is now at $64,836. So first look at a lease, it's pretty customizable. You know, at the home screen, it basically told you, okay, you have to put $4,500 down, 36 months, 10,000 miles, right? That's the estimate, but you can change it. So you could change the lease term 24 months or 36 months, and annual miles, 10,000, 12,000, 15,000. Pretty standard. It really depends on what you're looking for. And then also you could put down how much you want to put down as a down payment, or what you want to put down as signing, basically. And also whether or not you want to roll your taxes into it. So that's one benefit of a lease. Keep in mind, when you pay taxes on a lease, it's going to be lower than financing, because you're not buying the car. You're only paying taxes basically on the term of the lease. So it is going to be lower, but you can roll that in, right? And you have a slider, basically. How low do you want the monthly to be? You could go as low as like $300, but then you had to put down a huge amount of money up front. Or you could pay a super high monthly payment and put very little down, right? So you could adjust this how you want. You could customize it. If you want a little more miles, right? You want to put a little more down or a little bit less down. Okay, next let's look at the breakdown of the lease. Okay, so I mentioned about the car's price being a little bit higher. Why is that? Well, if you look at the breakdown, there's a destination fee of $1,125 and a documentation fee is $75. Those are pretty standard across all cars, not just Teslas, but Toyotas, Honda, GM, Fords. It doesn't matter. If you're leasing, you're going to have to pay these things. And even if you're financing or buying, you have to pay these things. This is one of those little tricks that car manufacturers don't want to include or tell you up front, because then the price looks higher. So it's no different with Tesla. But there is an order fee of $100. That's another little fee that's added in there. Okay, so if you're looking at this, the lease payment breakdown for me, $717. 36 months, 10,000 miles, money factor, right? I'm putting down $5,000. I'm putting down quite a bit, okay? And then you go down here, there's more fees that I wasn't aware of, and I don't think you guys are aware of either. So you have an acquisition fee of $695, $700. Yeah, so that's part of the lease. Optional ERT fee of $25. Okay, and then you have registration, transfer, titling fee of $401. So yeah, so there's those things. And disposition fee of $395. So that's a lot of fees. That's a lot of fees. 700, 400, 1100, and then you got another 400, 1500. So that's over $1,500 of fees. So these are surprise fees that I wasn't aware of, which is why the payment is much higher, right? Even though I'm putting down a bigger down payment, because of these fees and taxes is driving things much higher. So what about financing? Are there surprises? Yes. Well, looking at the breakdown for financing, had I chosen it, the car price is the same, okay? But you still have destination fee. That doesn't change. Documentation fee, order fee. The optional ERT fee is still there. Registration, transfer, titling fees are still there, okay? So some of the other fees from Lease dropped off, but you still have to pay these fees. Taxes in this case, $4,220 versus like under $2,000 for leasing. So you do have to add that in there, which is why the total estimate amount is now $64,836. Remember at the beginning of the homepage, it was like $833 to finance this? If you add all these things in, it's coming closer to $1,000 per month now, right? So again, there's hidden fees and things that you need to be aware of because the number at the homepage is going to be way lower than what you actually pay. Also, you can trade in a car if you wanted to, okay? Tesla does take in trade-ins, and they could just roll in what you owe into your finance or lease payment. It just depends on if you want to do that, right? So in my case, I used my wife's car as an example. I put in a 2019 Lexus RX, and it says that we still owe $54,000 if they take a trade-in. So I could roll that in if I wanted to, but of course I'm not doing that. It's just an example. So afterwards, it doesn't matter what you select, whether it's lease or finance, you have to go through a credit application. They want to check your credit, make sure you have good credit. Usual stuff, your personal information, also where you live, right? Whether you rent or mortgage, who's employing you right now, how much do you make? And you go ahead and submit. And you have to wait to see if you get approved or not. In my case, I got approved almost immediately. I have good credit, I know that. I don't know what happens if you have bad credit, whether or not they just decline you or they give you a worse interest rate. Now, lastly, afterwards, after they approve you and basically everything is good to go, they actually want to know your insurance information. So here, as you can see, you need to provide proof of insurance. And that is the buying process. Almost. Now you have to worry about home charging. That is something that Tesla surprisingly doesn't really share a lot of information about upfront, right? You figure through the process, the buying process, they would ask you, hey, do you want to charge at home? If so, we have these connectors, and they don't really talk about it. So there's two types. There's the wall connector, which requires you to buy this fancy wall connector setup. And you also have the mobile connector, which comes with your Tesla. So thank goodness you do get something, but there are costs still involved. And let me show you what I'm talking about. With the mobile charger, you can plug it into a household outlet, but you're getting about 2 to 3 miles per hour of charge. That's just way, way, way too low, right? If you want to fully charge your Tesla and make it ready, good to go the next day, you need to upgrade to 240 volt. And there's many different socket types. So here's a NEMA 650, NEMA 1550, NEMA 1430. So to give you an example, if you're utilizing a 240 volt 50 amp breaker with one of these socket types, you'll gain about 30 miles per hour with the Model 3, 23 with the Model S. Model X is about 20, and Model Y is similar to the Model 3, so I'll get about 30, right? So this is something you want to upgrade to, because if you want to charge your Tesla pretty fast, you got to get one of these. So first of all, you do have to get one of these sockets installed in your garage, right? This is an additional cost that a lot of people don't think about. And I've seen quotes anywhere from $300 if your breaker is close, all the way up to $2,000 to $3,000. So this is additional cost that really no one talks about. With the mobile charger, they give you one adapter. That's the NEMA 1450. Okay, so if you do install this one or you have the socket, then you're great. You're covered. You can simply plug in and plug into your Tesla and you're good to go. But what about all those other sockets I showed you? Maybe you have something else that's not 1450. Well, then you have to go with the adapter like this from Tesla, which costs about $220. So this basically adapts your mobile charger to all these different type of heads, right? So this is additional cost. And right now, this item is out of stock. So if you're looking for it, I don't even know when the next time you'll be able to buy one. So this is additional cost. Now, what about that home charger? Well, this is it. It costs about $500. And you could select two different cords, like an 18-foot or a 9-foot cord. It's the same cost. But the wall charger looks fancier, right? Is Wi-Fi enabled, so there are benefits to it. So you'll be able to see it on your Tesla app, what your Tesla is doing. And it charges faster. So you can see here, up to 44 miles of range per hour of charge. So this is faster than a mobile charger, right? So again, if you wanted to get this and it looks fancier and it works better and it charges faster, you have to pony up another $500 for this. Okay, so that was the entire process, start to finish. I plan on releasing another video when I receive my Model Y, what it's like to go to the service center, actually pick it up, what the entire process is like, the paperwork and anything else that may be related. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, okay? Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on my next video. And that's gonna be interesting. I wanna see how the process is in terms of picking up a Tesla versus any other car out there. And if you like this video, of course, make sure you smash up the like and leave any comments you have below. I would love to hear it. All right, until next time, bye-bye.